Welcome to Alpha Wolf Trading. Did you know that there's over 12,000 stocks or companies that trade on the OTC? Between the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, you have over 7,000 companies. But us as retail investors, we wouldn't know that unless we were researching. Because why? Wall Street focuses on the elite, the big companies. And where the retail investor has their advantage is in small and micro-cap stocks. Why? Because you have the opportunity to speak directly with leadership. That is what this is all about here at Alpha Wolf Trading. We're trying to find the hidden gems, and we interview the executive teams of companies that we think meet the parameters to be those hidden gems. I also want to make sure you understand that this is not a paid-for promotion. I collect no compensation for the interviews I do here. These companies that I interview have been identified as potential opportunities for me and the members of Alpha Wolf Trading to receive a higher than average return on our investment. These companies I have identified either because of a technical setup on a chart, a fundamental change within the organization, new management team, new products, all kinds of different things that actually lead me here. But what do I think is the most important? Leadership. And that is why I do these interviews. I want to understand what drives the person that is leading the charge. I want to feel their passion. I want to understand their vision and the strategy that they're going to use to achieve success. That is what these interviews are for. I want to understand the share structure and the cap table, the size of the TAM, the total addressable market. This is the opportunity to learn all of those things. So sit back and enjoy. And if you learn anything from today's interview, do us a favor. Subscribe to the Alpha Wolf Trading YouTube channel. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. I recommend highly that before buying any security, speak to a financial advisor and do your own due diligence. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Trading coming at you with another CEO interview exclusive. Today we have SyraHealth. Ticker symbol SYRA, listed on the NASDAQ and a fairly recent IPO. And we have the CEO, Deepika Vuppalanchi. And we have Sandeep. What is your official title? Is it chairman?
Yeah, I'm the president and the executive chairman as well.
Okay. Sandeep Allam. So welcome. Thank you for coming in to do this interview. And before we get started, I always like to, for me, companies that fall into two categories. There's wants and there's needs, right? And this one is one that I think there is a definitive need. Primarily for me, the focal point for me is mental health, right? I think that is a serious issue. And it seems like even more so in this day and age, right? So that's a big one for me. But who wants to take the mic and explain exactly what SYRA does?
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Tim, for this opportunity. And, we are excited to share our story about SyraHealth. We are a healthcare company providing innovative services and technology-based solutions to address some of healthcare's utmost challenges, especially in the area of mental health and population health. And we're also looking into digital health. So, for us as a company, we are very focused on three core areas in all our services and solutions. That is how to make our solutions preventative in nature, how can we improve access to healthcare, and also ensuring that all of these efforts will ensure that healthcare is affordable to the majority of population. So with those core three principles, we have shaped our services and solutions. With regards to behavior and mental health, there is an utmost need. There is, as per the statistics from the NAMI, which is the National Alliance Mental Health Institute, this 1 in 5 US citizens have a mental health condition. And these are only the ones that are diagnosed and have been, are getting treatment with a physician. But just look at the numbers that are undiagnosed. So I'm thinking there's a tremendous mental health crisis that needs to be attended. And most of the solutions out there are focused more on restorative care in bringing back patients and improving mental health. But what we are striving is more so, how can we be ahead of this game? How can we provide the preventative solutions? How can we assess the mental health right at the very beginning and provide tools and technology to help maintain that mental health throughout the life of an individual? So that's where our core vision is in this specific behavior mental health area. Sandeep, can you discuss digital health?
Yeah. So I think just as a background that Deepika has just given as a company, where we are, and when we started this, what was really the vision? And that's a very important question here. We put on a great structure together, and it started with really two primary things, our healthcare workforce and health education. And we evolved and saw an unmet need, which is the behavior and mental health. And we also have other business units, which we will cover in a minute, which is the population health and the digital health, what Deepika just mentioned. These core services have been launched based on deep market analysis, a very unmet need, which is very important, and trying to make sure that we are solving, when we say healthcare's biggest challenges, we are trying to actually have done some analysis, talking to customers, and where are the gaps in this space, right? Based on this, we have gotten a lot of great products and services, and it's quite wide if you think about it, right? But these are very specific and trying to solve these problems in this space. Now, when I talk about customers, we are covering, life sciences companies, payers, providers, government. We are right now working with a lot of state agencies, and we have been providing, as I just mentioned, these are the primary areas where, talking about the digital health, population health, and of course the healthcare workforce, health education. But again, we call it as our main service line, which is the behavior and mental health, which is one of the main topic, and also very, very a needed service, a needed unmet need, which is also an unmet need in the current market. So that's kind of the background, and we'll definitely take a deep dive into each of those service lines as we go. But this is, as a company, we're headquartered in Carmel, Indiana here. And as I mentioned, we have launched the company as a privately held, and then we saw an opportunity to become a public company. And this is we just recently are, we're still celebrating, being a public company from last year.
Rough time. Rough time to come public, right? I mean, in the markets, and that, look, that has nothing to do with your story. It's just right now, small cap, micro cap are just getting demolished, and they have been getting demolished for 30 months, right? So that's the overall market, and 90% of stocks are going to follow what the overall market does. The biggest concern right now is with the rising interest rates, everyone's concerned that if there's even a hint that you need to raise capital, that's a concern, right? So let me ask you, where are you at in terms of capital? Are you happy with where you're at? Do you feel as though you're going to need to do another raise anytime soon? I mean, you just went public, so I'm thinking you're probably good for a little bit, huh?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You have three, I would like to address saying three things actually. One is the market condition, right? The day we, decided to go for public comes with some certain challenges, but the core of it is that stick to the game plan. That is nothing but growing the company, bring opportunities, bring the revenue, right? Winning contracts, and that's very important for us. And guess what? We are continuously are doing the job, and we are winning contracts. We are getting awards. We are actually started delivering those and bringing the revenue. That's very important on one side. Now coming back to the market condition, the public market, we already know it, right? It kind of sometimes that doesn't equate to what our performance is sometimes, right? But coming back to where we are, what we have raised, it is a combination of it, Tim. It is one is whatever we have raised, it is we are good, but also we are bringing revenue, and we are a high margin company, right? All our solutions and all our products, what we have been launching, these are high margin products. So there's a combination of that, how we are kind of almost, I'm going to say, raising capital that way. Also, we have enough resources right now in the sense of so to answer your question very specific, yes, we are good right now. So we don't see a challenge at all from that perspective at all.
Okay, good. So listen, it's funny that I love the fact that you just said you stick to the plan, right? Because if you wait for market conditions to be perfect, you'd be waiting for a long time, right? I think it's more important that if you can stick to the plan, and no matter what the market conditions are, you continue to grow, right? And execute. That's even more impressive.
Yeah.
In the long run, right?
Yeah.
So I applaud you for saying that. And like I said, so let's kind of, you mentioned government agencies, schools. Would that be another area for your product?
Actually, there's one area, behavior and mental health. We are approaching schools. In fact, I'm glad you said that. Schools and universities are our first target audience, which when it comes to customers, right? And our approaches start from the base, which is nothing but from the schools, where we're trying to kind of implement this. Serenity is the product name, which has two things. One is prevention side and also the telehealth. So we are trying to bring this specific product and the service to the schools. And it's definitely our target right now. And we are already have been having a lot of conversations with, because we're about to go through some of those, executing those contracts with a couple of schools that we're having conversations with. Apart from that, I just want to address the second one too. We are talking about schools and universities. That's great. But also our approach for behavior and mental health, we're trying to approach the entire population through employers. So we are going after, pretty much making them, going after specific categories, because mental health is not just, which is not generalized. There's specific mental health conditions, and we are bringing some specialities to it to address those. So we are trying to, it's very robust in when we are trying to do this, but we are trying to make sure that, we call it as a 360 degrees model, because we are also addressing the prevention side, not just on the getting into just on the treatment side, which is the telehealth and so on.
Okay.
So Tim, just adding to what Sandeep has mentioned about the product, we are also focused on making this product accessible to a large population. So this product is available in multiple languages. It is ADA compliant, so elderly population can use it, as well as cater to younger generation as well. And the core is driven by AI. So there's a lot of data-driven insights along with AI, conversational AI, where the application or the platform is learning more about the user, assessing the mental health, monitoring it over a period of time, and then intervening with the right education, right interventions. And for those who need an additional layer of help, we have access to therapists. So we have 24/7 access to therapists where they can have their appointments, talk to them, and get the treatment. So it is a comprehensive solution, starting from prevention to monitoring to treatment as it relates to therapy.
So the treatment, are those doctors or psychiatrists that work directly for you, hired by you?
Yes, they are SyraHealth employees, and they are licensed behavioral health therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, based on the need of the user or the patient.
Okay. And if I'm just an individual, not a big company, and I wanted to sign up for can I do that on my own?
Not at this moment. Right now, we are catered to providing it more to an organization, to a large employer, to a school, to a university, and then driven through the organization. But maybe that's something that is going to come up in the future as a one-to-one consumer base.
Okay, gotcha. And is there a telehealth component?
Yes, there is definitely telehealth, and that is a way to reach our behavioral health therapists.
Okay, and then the monitoring part, if I'm not mistaken, excuse my voice,
No worries.
but the monitoring part, if I'm not mistaken, there was an app, or was that in progress or is that done?
Yes, that is the product we are talking about. It is called Serenity. And that's where everything is hosted from the assessment. So these are evidence-based assessments that are used by the physicians, by the national organizations on mental health. And now we have taken those assessments and put in a way that is more intuitive in nature. So the user just feels more engaged, continually answering those questions, those prompts, and throughout a period of time. And that way we are assessing, okay, baseline, this person or this user, they were feeling good, but there was some life instance, and that's where something has changed. And all of this data is stored and it is given to the behavior licensed therapist so that they can look into that information over a period of time, not just at the time of appointment.
So with the AI component, right, it gets smarter and smarter as it goes along to identify mental health problems, or I guess be able to categorize it more effectively, right?
It will learn more about the user. So maybe, it starts to sense that the user is engaging in a particular activity makes the user happy. Maybe it is taking the dog for a walk, and it sees that trend and then makes a suggestion. Hey, you're probably feeling low today. Have you taken your dog out for a walk? Kind of putting those prompts there, more personalized. So this is personalized mental health treatment, in the hands of the individual. There's no stigma associated with it. It is at their own pace, at their own safe environment.
Yeah, I mean, in today's world, I think we get inundated with so much information.
Mm-hmm.
Got social media, which is almost like competition for the younger generation, right? It's like they have to feel like they can keep up with the Joneses, and wear the fancy designer clothes and eat at the fancy restaurants and live that lifestyle. There's a lot of pressure, I think, a lot more pressure than when I was younger. I don't know where I read it, but it was, I think the average attention span now is something like 11 seconds. It's some ridiculous thing to be able to get and hold somebody's attention, right? And I can't see that as being a good thing. Would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I mean, the generations, things evolve, technology evolves, and human behaviors change. So the only way to address it is, provide those techniques, interventions in a way that is more resonating with the crowd. So if it is digital methods, then let's use that. But that's, just go with the trend is where my thoughts are.
Yeah. So Tim, you brought up a very great topic, right? In the sense, the attention problems. It's not just you're talking about the teens or the kids, or but also it's pretty much adults, because of the exposure to this gadgets and social medias and the smartphones and everything. It's not even 11 seconds, by the way. It is 5 seconds, what I know, right? So that is what we are dealing with right now. Now, how do we address that, right? Because you first, on one side, we are putting them in this vulnerable kind of places, and that continues, and you can't stop that part. And on the other side, we are trying to solve it, right? Intervene with certain things. So I think the only answer is we put our best foot forward with trying to, as Deepika mentioned, especially what is causing, what are the things that they are kind of developing, right? We are kind of relating to all these things, to all these exposures to behavior and mental health kind of things, right? So and that's when I think, what we are attempting to do, and we are trying to bring some great techniques, great interventions. And in fact, you'll be surprised, as much we are launching Serenity, we are trying to launch this prevention side and assessing them. We may have a little bit struggle initially to get their attention to begin with. Why do they have to believe to take these assessments, right? And why? And so we are actually putting this lot of marketing effort and a lot of education around it, and try to get them interested to go through this process. And that's going to be pretty challenging, by the way. I don't want to say that we're just going to just do it, right? Because we have attention problems to begin with, right? And we want to make them believe, but for the results they're going to get out of this, and then how we're going to deal based on those results is going to be the important thing. So our marketing effort, especially in the behavioral mental health, is going to be pretty intense. And because at a schools level, at our universities, and also through the employers, we want to make sure that there is a value that we are bringing and get them interested. So that is only through what I just mentioned, is by some great techniques in with marketing side, and get their attention to this one, because and making them believe that there is a problem that we are solving.
You've had some recently, you've had some pretty big wins, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. We have been getting some great wins, especially under healthcare workforce, and also under our population health business unit, 2 of them. Yes.
Okay, and you've got other RFPs or that are you're bidding on, right?
Yeah, I don't have exact number, but that is one of our model. We continuously bid, and these are across all the business units, not behavior and mental health. We are having a lot of RFPs. We're attempting in digital health, population health, and healthcare workforce. And over the time, we have probably sharpened ourselves how to kind of see how to kind of make sure our whole bidding process. And we have a great proposal writers who understand the specific RFPs and the kind of the need. And based on that, we have done according to of course our win speaks for itself, of our wins, whatever we had. So we have been doing pretty much a great job actually of attempting these RFPs, and our percentage of the wins are increasing, because when you go for an RFP and bidding, it's pretty much for everybody, right? All there's a lot of competition there, but I think we are pretty much kind of getting better and better, and kind of knowing the art of winning this at the same time.
Yeah, just to add a flavor and a perspective there. So Tim, we started off working with like few states, maybe 2 to 5. And then within the span of a year, we are now working in 15 plus states. And 2024, I believe we are well positioned to go beyond that number. We are hoping to add 10 more states into our areas of providing services and solutions. So we are looking forward to a more robust 2024 working across the United States.
Okay.
Also, Tim, we have we are in 15 states. We have 15 statewide contracts from past. So 15 is the number. I wanted to kind of mention that because you asked. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay, good. So I mean, that's a lot of room for growth, right?
Yeah.
Lots of room for growth.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of room, and especially in some of the business unit. As I said, we have in the past 1 year, 15 statewide contracts is a kind of, definitely a great achievement. But our goal is to cover the entire, all the states, and all of solutions are designed, especially when you talk about the government. That's what this is about, right? And also where we are trying to expand, and our goal by next year is to covering all the states of getting awards and wins in some capacity, in the sense of all these business units what we have, which covers 5 of them, what you have seen, right? With population health, with digital health, and healthcare workforce, and health education, and digital health. Yeah.
Deepika, is this something that you have just always been passionate about, this particular space How did you come up with SyraHealth?
Definitely. So, as my background is in medical sciences, and I spent many um, hours in a lab working on one small problem, looking at one disease. So I always thought, I want to make a bigger impact. I want to reach a bigger population. That's always been my dream. How do I make an impact across the country, across different conditions? And that's just been in my mind always. And then through my experience and working with Sandeep, we have identified areas in healthcare that we had confidence that we can provide end-to-end solutions. They were always silos. All the solutions that we were seeing were only attempting to provide one part of the challenge or unmet need. When we founded SyraHealth in 2020, we had that vision to provide end-to-end solutions across certain most challenging areas in healthcare, and that's been the vision from day one.
Got it. So let's talk about where you're at right now. How many shares outstanding, fully diluted, Sandy?
I think if you combine the Class A and the Class B, I think we're at 14 million, something along those 14 million, totally fully diluted.
Okay, so very, very, not an over bloated share count.
No, it is not. Absolutely not. Because at the IPO round, we had 1.6 million shares at the IPO round, and I think it's definitely we call it as a very tight deal, and there's not a lot of outstanding there. Absolutely not.
All right, so let me ask you this. I know that you have blackout periods, right?
Yes.
But when you don't have a blackout, is there insider buying?
We don't have a report from recent times. We had a very little insider buy recently, but just from our, we call our employees ourselves as insider buys. But I think we've been, been hearing that there was people are interested because that brings a lot of confidence with our own employees who are able to do the insider buy, and we did definitely had some insider buys, in the last quarter.
Okay. What do you see as potential catalysts in the next 6 to 12?
I mean, definitely we are our contracts and our wins are going to tell our credibility is going to increase with our wins. So and our presence in multiple states are going to help us be in the eyes of more investors. We are attending conferences and other major events that can help make us more visible among the people. So we are thinking that all of this coming together is going to be pushing our awareness and visibility and our vision to improve healthcare.
Okay.
Also, I would like to add what Deepika just mentioned. One of our, I mean, of course, we highlighted on the behavior and mental health. That's one of our flagship product, is what we call it as. You're going to see a lot of we are already have some potential opportunities and having a lot of conversations with them. So we will be definitely that's going to be one of the biggest what do you call an increase, I would say, of behavior and mental health with revenues and contracts and wins in that particular one. Apart from that, we with digital health, we have some certain expansions on certain products, especially with our Care Plus product, which is an EMR system, and also we have SYRA Bot, which is one of the things that we are already implementing currently to a major payer, and we are looking forward to see a lot of expansion in that as well.
Okay. And what's the population portion of was it population
Population business unit?
Yeah.
So Deepika, you want to cover that piece?
So yeah, we have a service line called population health management. So here is where we are looking at epidemiology, looking at data trends across state, across county levels, to city, to state, to national levels. And we have multiple contracts in this area, working in Minnesota, DC, Indiana, Texas, where we are looking at different areas or trends as it relates to maybe disease conditions. So in Indiana, we are looking at mental health trends across the state. How are the demographics? What are the things that we should be aware of? And create this report that indicates all the data points and acts as a source of truth for the state of Indiana. Now, on similar lines, we also look at how cultural or language acts as a barrier to healthcare in Minnesota. So we are looking at, racial, other conditions and other factors that may impact the overall health of a population. So think of the service line as more as evaluations, data analysis, generation of insights, and creation of reports that will help shape future healthcare for the entirety of the population. So a lot of public health experts and data analysts, data scientists, that's the teams that are involved in the service line.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I think this is a very compelling story, right? It's a very low share count. I'm not surprised at what the stock has done after the IPO, but what it looks to me, and just so you understand, I'm a technical guy and a fundamental guy. I'm a fundamental guy way before I'm a technical guy, okay? But I never even believed in technicals, actually. And then I took a course like 15 years ago, and now it's the first thing I look at is the chart, right? Because it actually can tell you some things, kind of like an x-ray, right? But what's interesting about your chart right now is you've really been kind of just going sideways for, let's see, since November, actually about October, right? October, you're just going sideways. It doesn't appear to be that there's a lot of sellers and there's not a lot of buyers. It's just right now, you're just kind of in a holding pattern. And I call that building a base, right? So the wider the base, eventually the higher the space. So in other words, when you do break, it can be a nice launching pad, right? So right now, I would say you're probably, what do you feel your biggest challenge is, at least within the investment community? It's getting recognized, right? Would you say that's it?
No, actually, first of all, thanks for this analysis, Tim. I think you read it right. We have a very strong supporter base, which is nothing but our shareholders who have come in before the IPO and even after the IPO, right? But after the IPO, of course, at the time of the IPO, I'm sorry, but after the IPO, we are definitely trying to put a lot of our efforts in the marketing, because it's very important that people need to know who's SyraHealth and what we are trying to do. So we are a new company in the NASDAQ, right? We are listed, that's all great. But it's important for us that to tell a story and it reaches to the new investor communities and try to understand our story, and also believe that what we're attempting to do is something great. And this is not future. This is not forecasted. This is right now, currently, and people can see the success. So we want to bring that. But you know what? We want to that's only done with some specific type of marketings. We have a great PR firm. We have a great PR team. We have an IR team, and they're doing a fabulous job. And we're just a couple of months back, right? We just started it. And I think whatever success we have seen so far and bringing new investors, I think it's pretty great. But I want to kind of complete saying this is that whatever shareholders we have, they are strong supporters and believers, and they are going to stay with us because they see the long-term vision, and that's who we have right now, who are pretty much are holding our the amount of shares they own and everything. They're still there with us, and they'll be continue being there with us, and that's kind of the confidence that they have on us, and we will definitely would not let them down for sure.
Okay. So to be clear, this is like a reoccurring revenue model, right? Is it an annual subscription? Is it a monthly subscription? How does it work?
It depends what the business unit you're talking about. One is the products, right? For the products, we talk about behavior and mental health in specific. We have a licensing model. I mean, it's a membership fee that we charge, which is, for example, it's a $10 we charge for each member. That's one thing. It is a per month. And so it's kind of $120 per year for each member. That's one side for the prevention side for accessing the prevention side of the app. And the second one is the telehealth. Telehealth has separate charges for that for each visit. And it's based on what kind of a visit they have, and with a specialist, it varies from $60 to $250 per visit, actually. So based on what kind of a specialist or therapist they're seeing, including a psychiatrist as well, because the cost varies that. But apart from this model, which is the behavior and mental health, we have 4 other business units which are specific products and services, which the cost models are very different, and how they bring it in. For services, for example, we work with the government agencies, the typical contract size is close to $1 million per year, right? That's one way to look at it. And some contracts, there it is on average, it is $3 million per year. That's how we are also attempting those RFPs, and those are the awards that we have, the wins that we have. I'm sorry. So it's different for different business units and different products. Some are very based on subscription, license-based, or that's one way to look at it. And the other way is services, which are very, solutions and services-based type of revenues that we are bringing in as well. So it's a combination, how we have structured it.
Would you be able to white label this for somebody? Or are you going to...
We do not have any products that we are providing ourselves. We are definitely not a technology SaaS-based kind of a company to provide to other vendors who can white label it. But maybe the future, especially for the mental health, is the only one I could think that if any other private clinics especially in this space would want to, or some of the employers want to white label it and provide this service, I think we would be interested in the future. Currently, I would only see a future for that only in the mental health space.
Right. Okay. I'm just thinking outside of the box here, other potential opportunities, right? But the way I view this right now is, let's see, where are you sitting? You're sitting you're just sitting over $1. So that's a big spot to stay above, right? Yeah. Because to stay listed on the NASDAQ, stay in compliance, right? You got to stay over $1. And it looks like you've found support there. So that's actually a really good place to have a floor, right? I think that as you continue to gain contracts and more states, right? I mean, you have a lot of potential catalysts ahead of you, right? So I guess it comes down, for me, it's like, okay, what's the risk reward here, right? Where did you IPO at? What was the price?
We were at $4.
$4, right? So you IPO'd at $4. You're sitting at $1. So if you just go back to where you IPO'd, that's a pretty nice hit, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's if you just go back to where you IPO'd.
Right.
If you take that out, then you got blue sky overhead, right? Yeah. Then who knows where you go. But it's all going to come down to execution, right? Yes. And being recognized, right? And I'm sure you're going to be doing roadshows, non-deal roadshows, and all kinds of stuff to get your name out there, right?
Yes.
You have, like you said, a good IR firm. I wouldn't have found you if it wasn't for your IR firm. So, I mean, they are doing a good job. And I think this is a phenomenal story. So when can I have you back for an update?
Not to sound overconfident that I love to have an update with you every single month, right? So because we have some great wins, and the company is in a good momentum, right? And the momentum comes with a lot of wins, as you know, in the growth. The growth brings a lot of excitement, and we like to share a story to the market, and through you, Tim, because you have the access to that. And in fact, we have a separate team who is working very hard to access to that investor communities, right? You said it's $1. Yes, we are definitely, we are thinking, how to bring it back to the fore. To again, that's going to be our starting point again, right? And of course, there are reasons why it went to one. Not that people lost, people who sold, were certain kind of specific investors. We get that, and there was a reasons why. But I think it just takes a very. We are confident that it just takes some good, great wins, and also more importantly, access to the new investors and who can see us, who can really read our story is going to be the important thing here, and it's going to go back where it's supposed to be I mean, where it really deserves to be in, right? Because I strongly believe our fundamentals are strong, our growth is consistent, and of course we are doing above and beyond, and we want that to be matched with our stock, with the share price, right? And that's going to be an important thing, and that's what we are trying to analyze. How do we make sure it is complementing, matching with that, but I don't want to sit down here just blaming the market. That's okay. The interest rates are here, and but honestly, I ignore all that part. I just want to stick on, as I just mentioned, work hard towards and what we have designed, what we need to be, what are our targets, and meet those. I think the market should definitely come back and support us, and I strongly believe in that.
Ultimately, this story is about helping as many people as you possibly can, right?
Yes.
That's the goal. And I think it's an admirable goal. And I think it is a big problem. And it's not, to me, I think at one time mental health issues was probably something you didn't want to share with the world, right? But I think now it's so prevalent and it's in your face, and to me it's not a judgment thing at all, right? It should be a compassion thing, right? Because it's real. I mean, this stuff is real. Depression is real. I've had depression myself. And your life seems like it's going perfectly fine, but when you get into a depression, you really literally can't get out of it, right? And unless you go talk to somebody. I mean, this is real serious stuff, and it's life impacting. So I wish you guys all the best of success, and I'd love to have you back every month. But what we're going to do is we're going to wait until you have something you feel is significant, right? That you really want the street to know about. And then we'll have you back then. Does that sound like a good plan?
That's a great plan, as much ambitiously asked for that, but I totally will agree with the plan. Let's see the results, and I would like Tim to come back to us and say, I want to do one more of interview of us. So I would love to do that.
All right, perfect. Listen, thank you for coming in. Is there anything that you feel that I've missed?
No, Tim, I think, Deepika, what do you think? I think we covered quite everything, right?
Yeah, we have covered our, story, our vision, and our plans for 2024 and beyond. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and this has been great.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. So hold on one second. I'm going to turn this on. I hope you enjoyed today's interview with SyraHealth CEO Deepika Vuppalanchi and President Sandeep Allam. Ticker symbol SYRA. If you did enjoy today's interview, do us a favor, give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Trading wishes you the very best of success.